Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Angel Sanchez. I'm a lifelong Riverside resident, and today I'm very excited to welcome one of our newest council members, Mr. Sean Mill. He's representing the 5th Ward. We're honored to have you here today.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
And we basically just want to have an opportunity for the residents of Riverside to get to know you a little bit. And now that the campaign's over, we get to, just have a sit-down conversation. And really, I'd like to start with, tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe over the next 30 seconds or so.
30 seconds about myself. Well, I was born and raised in Santa Ana, California. My dad was an engineer for the phone company. My mom was a stay-at-home housewife. And my mom was, when I was 5 years old, took me to a political, to an office to work on a political campaign at the age of 5, and it just kind of stayed in my blood ever since. Grew up loving politics. What a sick kid I was, but I grew up loving politics. Went on to go to the University of California, Irvine, got a degree in political science, and moved to Riverside my wife is a native Riversider, and moved here to her and my daughter. We live here in Riverside. So I've been here since 2015, 2016, and love the community. Fell in love with Riverside, and would live no other place.
Nice. All right, so let's talk a little bit about prioritization. Given the challenges our city faces, things like fixing roads, improving safety, bettering our schools, and just growing our economy, which problems do you think the city should tackle first? And how will you make sure that we're taking care of these urgent issues while also planning for the future?
First and foremost, I think City Council needs to get back to basics. I knocked on thousands of doors during the campaign, and people talk to me about everyday quality of life issues, getting their trash picked up on trash day, making sure that the potholes are filled on the streets, the general overall condition of the community. It's dirty. It's dirtier than I've ever seen it. And those are the type of things that folks talked about. They're not talking about these big picture deals that we've seen our council kind of engage in over the last 4 years. People are just like, can you make City Hall work for me? So my number one priority is to get back to basics, get back to constituent services, making sure that when our residents call or email their council members, that they're getting a response. They're the employer, they're the boss, I'm their employee. And I think it's very important to understand my role in the org chart. So my first priority is to make sure that when people open their door in the morning, that it looks better than it did when they closed it the night before, when they look outside. And that's really, it sounds Pollyannish, that I just want the city to be a nicer place to live. But that's really, City Council needs to stay in their lane, and their lane is we actually will have more influence on the day-to-day life of people than who the President of the United States is. And so we need to do what we do, and we should focus on the issues that we can handle. We can make sure that your trees are trimmed and that our streets are cleaned and that our trash is picked up. For me, priority, if you ask me, in 4 years, what do I want to accomplish? One of my top priorities is the revitalization of Magnolia Avenue especially if you go to the intersection of Van Buren and Magnolia, one of the busiest intersections in all of the Inland Empire, if not the busiest intersection. Every day, more cars go through that intersection than anywhere else in our city. That's opportunity lost. Every time a car goes through that intersection, that's an opportunity lost. If you look at the two prominent corners, the southwest corner and the northeast corner, they're dilapidated buildings. What kind of a message is that sending to our community? What kind of a message is it sending to people that want to invest dollars into our community? So I really want to start with the revitalization of the Magnolia corridor through there, in particular that corner, because if we can get that corner in order and send a message to people who are going to invest their money, we're asking people to bring their money, private money, into our community. We have to start by, I think if we can revitalize that, you can start to see that whole area start to clean up. And so that's going to be a top priority for me is the economic development and the revitalization of that area. People want to see more restaurants. I hear this all the time. When are we going to get more restaurants? When are we going to get all that? Well, we're not going to get any of that unless we raise the socioeconomic level of the area. That's going to mean we need to build housing. I know a lot of people don't want to see more housing in Riverside, but the only way we're going to get to the next level is to have more housing and housing at all levels of affordability. So economic development. Being a former planning commissioner, having a lot of years of experience on planning, that's kind of my wheelhouse, so I'm real excited about doing that. I also want to fix some of the things that I think where we've kind of gone the wrong direction over the last couple years. The VMT guidelines, which are vehicle miles traveled guidelines, I think we need to get more realistic and do more to incentivize people to come to our city. I think the guidelines that the previous council passed were far too restrictive and disincentivize people from coming to our city. I think the Electrify Riverside initiative that was put forth also disincentivized development. Why are we trying to get ahead of the state of California as far as guidelines? I think we need that. Those type of things send messages to the development community that, hey, Riverside may not be the friendliest place to go. We need to make sure that people understand that Riverside is a place that welcomes development and will work hand in hand with our development community to make sure that we get the best product for our community and the region in general.
Excellent. Yeah, so I like that. Back to basics. Let's make sure we're kind of getting those foundational needs. So
right.
Good. Well, you kind of hit on this. So as a council member, what you talked about kind of how people feel they're disconnected, like kind of that community engagement. So a common concern among most residents is they feel out of touch with their council member. You touched on that a little bit, but how do you intend to maintain an ongoing and open communication with your constituents?
Well, I'm a title insurance guy that's what I do for a living. I'm a sales guy, for lack of a better term. And if I don't answer my phone when my customer calls or I don't return an email, I get fired. They call another title guy. So it's ingrained in me. Customer service is ingrained in my DNA because if I'm not good at customer service at my day job, my family doesn't eat. Right. So I take that's just who I am. So I have an amazing staff that's coming on. I'm going to, a gentleman that has years of experience working in the public sector, through governmental agencies, so he understands how it works and he understands what's expected of him. We also have another position. It will be a bilingual person who, because Ward 5 is predominantly Hispanic, it's important that all members of our community have access to their council member. But for me, my phone number is going to be readily accessible. Everybody in town can Google and they get my personal phone number, because if they didn't have it, they seem to have found it over the last couple of weeks, because I get a lot of phone calls and I don't mind that. I don't mind having the conversation. I think it's important for them to have direct access to tell me what they're feeling. That's one of the things I loved about campaigning is when you go to someone's front door and you're having a conversation on their front porch, it's honest. There's no, they tell you what, you ask somebody a question, they're not going to sugarcoat it. And I want them to have that same opportunity now that I'm sitting on the dais. I don't want them to feel that they can't talk to me and vice versa. The next 4 years is going to be an open conversation between myself and the community. And I've told them they may not always like the answers that they hear, but I will always be willing to listen to what they have to say. No, I can't promise I'm always going to do what they want, but I can guarantee them that their voice will be heard by me before I make any decision. I will listen to all voices, whether you voted for me, whether you didn't vote for me. I represent all the residents of Ward 5.
Excellent. All right, good. So we talked a little bit about economic development. I want it's an important thing to me, and I think it's important to all the residents of Riverside. I want to get into a little bit more detail. So economic growth is obviously fundamental to overcoming most of those challenges you opened with. Can you outline a little bit about your strategic plan to not only attract new businesses, but also ensure that those that are already here, the entrepreneurs, the small and medium-sized businesses that are here, can offer sustainable, good-paying jobs?
Well, first, look where we are. I mean, I think, and I don't want to be here trying to put down anybody that's been in the job before I got there. But look around us. We're surrounded by incredible universities. You know, you have UCR, you have La Sierra, you know, RCC, amazing. I mean, look, RCC's nursing program is one of the finest, I mean, of anywhere, not just a community college, any college, university in this country, we have RCC. And then, you know, I'm a little biased, but I'm a CBU, it's Ward 5's, it's Ward 5's university. And so I look around and look at all these kids that are graduating from these amazing universities, but then we've nurtured them for 4 or 5 years or however long they've been here, and then they leave. They leave because there's nowhere for them to live because they can't afford to live in Riverside. We have to do something about that so we can make sure that our you know, the young new professionals coming into the job force have somewhere to live. But we don't have the jobs. We should be working hand in hand with all these universities. What are you putting out into the world? Okay, and then we can go to these corporations and be like, we have a pipeline of employees, you know, flowing into your industry. So I want to make sure that our schools, our unions, because the trades, the apprenticeship programs, those kind, that we work to attract the businesses that these can feed into. And as far as our current businesses, you know, one of the biggest frustrations I hear from our local businesses is that there's businesses that have closed down because over the last couple of years, their windows are getting smashed out. Just nuisance crimes. I think it's important that we, again, it's a kind of a get back to basics type of approach. But how do we support our local business? We make sure that their business, their employees, their customers are safe when they go. You make it attractive to them, to the community. How many people drive past businesses because folks are set up in front of the business, or you know, antisocial behavior is taking place right there along in front of their businesses? That has to stop. We can't allow that to continue. I've already sat down with the chief and talked about it. And he asked me about, you know, what do you hear from the community? I said, Larry, they're not that people feel unsafe in our community, but they're mad as hell about the petty little nuisance crimes. And we need to, I'm a big broken window theory. You crack down on the little things, the big things start, you know, dissipate over time.
You mentioned this a few times, and it really is something critical. And on the topic of affordable housing and homelessness, it continues to be just a significant challenge here in Riverside. What innovative solutions or policies do you propose to address these needs? And how are you going to work with local organizations or agencies to kind of bring effective change?
I believe that we need affordable housing. However, I don't think that we can build our way out of the homeless crisis that we're seeing. Is that there are folks that are out on the streets that they don't care. They don't want housing. That I believe Riverside's approach has been the housing first model. And I don't think the housing first model is working. I'm not the only one that thinks that. The guy that runs the downtown LA mission, who I think knows a little bit more about homelessness than I do, says housing first is a failure. We continue to throw money at the housing first solution and forget about the other issues that are at play here. Drug addiction, mental health. The folks that are down on their luck, you know, lost their job. I think that we have services, and it's important that we partner with nonprofits and other agencies to get those folks into the services they need. but it's, and I don't believe that those are the people that our community has a problem with. It's the people who are on the streets doing drugs, committing crime, doing God knows what else. That's the problem. That's bigger. It's bigger than the city of Riverside. It's bigger than the county of Riverside. You're going to need everybody to come together, and we need to figure out how to deal with this. So I'm going to aggressively, and I know some of my other colleagues feel the same, we need to be constantly on our folks up in Sacramento. We need to get more money back here. I know Richard Roth, I'm sad to see him leaving Sacramento because he's been a huge advocate for our community to get more money back here, but we need to make sure we're getting the money to get the mental health beds, because we're not going to deal with the issues that I think are the problem until we're able to find places for these folks. It's one thing to you know, you move them along. There's a thought like, well, you just move them along. Well, does it solve the problem? It doesn't. The only way we're going to solve it is by having more facilities. I would like to see us program. I would love, and I know it's been talked about in the past, but when somebody brings somebody from Lake Elsinore to the facilities in Riverside, once they're done at the county facilities, we put them back on a whether it's a car or a minivan, and we drive them back down to Lake Elsinore. We don't just simply release them into Riverside. Now, I probably need to talk to a city attorney and people who are much smarter than I, but I think that's not too much to ask. Is that, you know, these folks being the county seat, when you're the county seat, you ask for a lot of these things to be in your city, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that Riverside ends up in a dumping ground. These folks come and they're released back out into our communities, and I want to see a way to get them back to their point of origin. It's important that, there's a reason why Riverside has problems that Temecula doesn't, because when Temecula has a problem, those people have to come to facilities in Riverside. Temecula's not like, hey, give us a call when you're finished, we'll come and get you.
Sure.
So maybe Riverside can have a shuttle service, our own community Uber that will take them back down to their point of origin. I think, again, that's not going to solve the problem, but I think it's a start.
It's a tool.
It's a start.
Definitely. All right, so let's finish up here with the easy questions, I'll say. And one of the things that I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a lifelong Riverside resident, and one of the things I like about Riverside, that even though it's grown, it's always been Riverside. And so, considering all we've talked about, how do you plan to balance really a need for modernization and improvement within our city that actually addresses vital change, while also kind of preserving that unique charm that we have here in our city?
Well, I always, Riverside is the biggest little city in the world. It doesn't matter. And what I love, and we got it right here. I mean, this right here. You go anywhere in the world and you see that, and you automatically feel like you're at home. And Riversiders are a unique bunch of folks. And I don't know any other city that tattoos a symbol on their body like Riversiders. So there's just a wonderful charm to Riverside. There's so much civic pride here. People, you're Riverside. You love being Riverside. I came from Orange County, but I'm one of those people I actually have a tattoo of a navel orange and the Rain Cross bell right here.
No kidding.
Yeah, right here on my arm, and because it's who we are. I mean, and I'm an adopted. I was welcomed into the community, but this is where I choose to live, and I love it. I coach football at Poly High School. The pride that people have on Friday nights. I would go to the games. There were people that graduated from Poly long ago, but they would be there on Friday nights, and it still mattered to them. There's something that was just amazing about it. So we definitely have to preserve that. And there are certain things here in the community that, it's important for us to understand the history of our community. Riverside was founded by abolitionists. John W. North, they were abolitionists. Riverside was the first school district that voluntarily desegregated its schools. we have just an amazingly rich history like that. I don't think a lot of people who live here even realize that. So those are things that we have to preserve our rich history. But at the same time, I get frustrated when I see people like, look where we sit on a map. You got San Diego, Los Angeles, Orange County, and we sit right at the center of that. That's one of the most prosperous economic triangles, not in the state, not in the country, not in the entire world. We're right at the center of that. And we need to capitalize on our location alone. We should be thriving. And I think for too long, there were so many people, they still saw ourselves as a sleepy agricultural town. And well, we are. But we're much more, and we need to be much more. We should be trying to attract, the 21st century companies. Change is inevitable. I mean, you can try to stop it, but you're going to get run over eventually. So we need to embrace change while never forgetting our past.
Excellent. All right, so those are the easy questions.
Okay.
And now we'll get into the hard ones.
Okay.
Now, in all seriousness, I'm gonna throw some just quick response questions at you, just so people can kind of get to know you a little bit better on a personal level.
Okay.
And kind of silly in nature, but we'll start off with, and I know the answer to this, but they don't. Coffee or tea?
Oh man, coffee. Coffee is that's my love. That's my vice. All day long, coffee,
right.
And I drink it all day long.
Good. I'm with you. I love coffee too. Tea every once in a while, but I'm a coffee.
I only had tea when I went to England because it was like when in Rome you gotta
Right,
But other than that, coffee, black coffee. I drink it just black, straight black coffee.
Just as it comes.
Yeah.
How about cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs. I'm a dog person. We have 2 dogs right now. I have an Australian Labradoodle. His name is Tigger, and we have a Shih Tzu poodle. His name is Poochie, and they're the kings of our house for sure.
Awesome. What's your favorite type of food?
Well, from the looks of me, everything. But I'm going to say Italian. Italian.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. We got some good Italian restaurants
Yeah.
here. So.
Yes.
All right. How about this? If you could, one opportunity to do time travel, would you go back in time 20 years or would you go forward in time 20 years, knowing that you'll get to come back?
I know where we came from. I want to see where we're going. My vision for our city's future is big, and I would love to go ahead 20 years to see if it comes to fruition.
Excellent. You rather cook or do the dishes?
I would definitely ask. Don't. My wife, hopefully she's not watching. I would definitely want to cook. I hate dishes, and she'll be like, "Yeah, I know."
I think most of us feel that
Yeah,
way.
I would rather cook, and I actually do. I make incredible meatballs on Christmas. We always have meatballs and lasagna for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And my job is to make the meatballs, and they're if I do say so myself, they're probably some of the best I've had.
I'm gonna have to sneak by.
Yeah, I will. I'll make a couple extra. They're about the size of softballs too.
Wow.
Yeah, they're big.
A whole meal.
Yes, unto itself.
What about sports? You into sports? And
Oh,
if so,
man.
what do you like? Football, baseball, basketball?
My wife will tell you, anytime there's a sports, it doesn't matter what it is, I love. I'm a hockey guy. I love hockey. But I love all sports. To me, that's the ultimate reality show of sports. Don't give me the Kardashians. Give me
Sure.
Give me a sports. That's real reality.
Absolutely. We've got some great teams here. In
Yeah,
Riverside.
for sure. And
It's
I
exciting.
went to, I was excited. I went to Pauley Pavilion to see the CBU women when they were in the NCAA tournament for the first time. And again, Ward 5's team. I can't wait to the day when the men's and women's teams are both competing in March Madness, and we can have a watch party right over there at the event center.
Yeah, that was cool. I was actually in D.C. and was watching them to see CBU on national TV, and I'm a Lancer myself, so that was exciting.
So how awesome is it though? Because it's like CBU Riverside on ESPN.
Yeah. Taking on UCLA.
Yeah, doesn't
was
get
great
much
to
better.
see.
It was awesome.
All right, so the weather recently has been a little bit rainy. Do you like sunny days or rainy days?
I love the rain. I love cold weather. So I mean, I prefer because I love the weather right now because I know it's going to be hot for a long time after.
I'll say enjoy what you can.
Yes, yes. So
What about sunrise or sunset?
sunrise, because hope.
Sorry.
Hope. I love to chase the sun. I love to get up before the sun comes up because I chase the day. So, and you never know when the day is behind you at sunset. I always love the sunrise because you never know what the next day, how great it can be. There's always potential.
Like it. All right. Well, two more easy ones. Other than Riverside, of course, because I know nobody wants to leave Riverside, but anywhere in the world, what city would you love to visit if you haven't been, or what city is your favorite?
My favorite city in the world is easy. I love Montreal, Canada. My dad was born and raised in Montreal. Again, as you can see, I love to eat. So Montreal has amazing, amazing food from all over the world. Love it. Place I want to visit, Australia. I know that's a continent and a country, but so there's not a particular city, but I want to go to Australia one day.
Excellent.
Hopefully someday soon while I can, still enjoy it.
still
Yes, yes.
All right. So we'll close out with the final question. And in one single word, how would you describe Riverside?
Amazing.
I like it.
Amazing.
I like it. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor
Same.
for me to take the time and really learn more about you. We've spoken on a number of occasions, but really today I think it helped all of our residents fully understand what your plan is for the future and given us an opportunity to learn about your meatballs and a little bit about your personal life. You got a job ahead of you.
Yes, sir.
You got a lot to do, and I appreciate the fact that you're taking it so seriously and that you joined us here today to express your thoughts. And I wish you a tremendous amount of luck over the next few years, and I look forward to seeing how things grow.
And I just can't thank the people of Riverside enough for the opportunity to serve them. And I'm really excited about the opportunity that the people of Riverside have handed to me, and I will do all I can to make them proud.
We're excited to have you. Thank you guys for watching today. We look forward to more of these opportunities to meet our council members. Go out there, enjoy the weather, and enjoy Riverside for all that we have to offer.